What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are on our way to the gym once again, and I literally just drove past a cop that was pulling someone over. So I'm going to drive very carefully today. We don't need to get a ticket. I've never gotten one. I've never been pulled over, and yeah, I don't think I've had any run-ins with the police. So that's a positive thing in my life. I've been enjoying that. And today I was thinking that I kind of wish that I had a magic wand that I could wave and it would cause people to move, because I would really like if my cousin lived near me. He lives in Massachusetts. He's very far away, and I just feel that we could have such a beneficial influence on each other if we were both a little bit closer distance-wise, because he's such a fun guy. He's a great guy, and I mean, we complement each other in some very beneficial ways. I think that I'm a little bit more, maybe more driven, and a little bit, obviously, well, one of the big things, if you know us, is I'm definitely more frugal. I'm definitely more health conscious, and he's a little bit more go with the flow, fun loving. I mean, I love fun too, but he loves it more. So, he definitely has a good impact on me. I have a good impact on him. I would like to say, honestly, no. I feel I should have a good impact on him, but whenever we get together, it's like so infrequent that we actually are in person, that when we do get together, we end up kind of celebrating more than we should. And so it's not the healthiest, because I feel like the impact that I could have on him that would be really good is if I helped him get in shape a little bit more, helped him eat right, but we don't do any of that when we get together because it's so infrequent. But I think that if we lived near each other, then the celebratoriness would kind of wear off, and we wouldn't be indulging in so many, in so much food and drink and that kind of stuff. And we would be a little bit more on point regarding our health. I think that, that would definitely be the case. At least for myself, I know, that nothing is sustainable to do at the level that we do when we're hanging out, just because we're not really exercising that much. I mean, it's sustainable, but it's not healthy, and I wouldn't let it happen. So I just wish that there were a way I could get people to move. I mean, obviously, I myself could move, but then I'd need to wave the magic wand the other way and get more people to move with me, right? So no matter where I go, I'm gonna want people to come to me. And it would be so great if we had some kind of technology that let us just teleport in a way. I mean, we have planes, and that affords us very fast transportation, which is nice. But it's still not quite at the level at which it's convenient to just do, say, just for a weekend, right? I don't really want to fly up to Massachusetts for a weekend because, one, the plane tickets are expensive, and two, even though the flight itself is only 2 hours, the wait time at the airport and getting to the airport and getting picked up from the airport, it all in all probably takes like 4 hours, maybe more, of just time spent like in the car and traveling, and the round trip, that's maybe 10 hours. So it ends up just being like you spend way too much time traveling. And the biggest thing, maybe that would be worth it, but the biggest thing really is the cost. It's a couple $100 each way. And I feel that, in the future, we'll probably have something a lot better than planes. I know Elon Musk has been working on rockets that, send you into the atmosphere, and then you come back down and you could be around the world in 45 minutes or an hour or something like that. And that sounds interesting, but still not quite the kind of thing that I'm thinking of. I'm so hopeful that, and this is way far off, that we will eventually just get like kind of like a door from Monsters Inc. If you guys ever saw that movie, they would just have doors that you could press a button and you would open the door, and it would lead you to essentially it would be like a wormhole almost. You would just walk through the door and you'd be in a completely different place. And I hope we get something like that. I think that would be really cool. I am wary of traditional teleportation. I don't know how they would actually implement it, but how they do it in all the sci-fi things really makes it seem like it's just a suicide machine where they vaporize you at one end and then you are reanimated at another end, but you're still getting vaporized. And so that doesn't really appeal to me. But what would appeal to me is if we had some kind of a door that we could look through and see the other end and just walk through. And that way there's no vaporization, there's no chance for this to be a suicide machine. You're just walking through a door like you would any other. And that's what would really appeal to me. But the reason that I want that is because I think that if we could get together, if me and my cousin could get together, I mean, one, it would be a lot of fun. Yes, it would be a lot of fun. But I think that we'd both rub off on each other in beneficial ways. I think that I would become a little bit more chill, and I'm pretty chill, all things considered, but I think that I would become a little bit... The thing about my cousin is that he has this way about him where nothing really bothers him at all. And, I mean, obviously things still do bother him, but he's very good at being stoic about it and not letting it seem like those things bother him. And I think that helps him deal with whatever happens to him, because if you're not making a big deal about things to other people and you're kind of just getting through these things and you don't end up outwardly suffering a lot, I mean, a lot of the time you're going to be suffering less in general because just less of your time is spent lamenting over whatever is going on. And so, you know, once you kind of put on a brave face, I think that brave face kind of, it gives you a real bravery in a sense. You end up not being as affected by what's going on around you. And so he's really good at that. I think that would be great for me to pick up a little bit more. I do it a little bit, but not the most. I try to do it, but he's on another level. He's way better at it than I am. And I would like to pick up on that a little bit more. Where I think I could help him is he's doing very well, but he's not the most long-term oriented. He's not necessarily planning that much. He kind of just goes through life and, you know, what happens to him happens. And some things are good, some things are bad. But there's some probably unsustainable practices or not as sustainable practices, you know, with managing weight. He's a bit overweight. He's, you know, he's tried to work out and stuff, and he did while he had a personal trainer for a while. But what got him was he only, you know, that was expensive. He only had it for a set period of time. It was just a couple of months, and he was on a pretty good path where he was losing weight when he would go to the personal trainer and while someone was keeping him accountable. But then when that expired, he ended up not renewing it. And then, you know, he didn't end up continuing to work out when he didn't have someone keeping him accountable. And so I feel, you know, I try to keep him accountable from where I am, but it's tough to get someone to go to the gym and, you know, pick themselves up and go to the gym when you're hundreds of miles away from them and you're just on the phone and they come up with excuses like, oh, well, I've got to do this after work and da-da-da. And they just, you know, they won't do it. So it's tough to keep, it really is tough to keep people accountable when you just use technology to communicate, when you're not actually seeing them in person, which is how you pretty much, you know, throughout most of history, you always would. And it would be so much easier to keep people accountable, I think. And when you're long distance from someone, it's tough. So I think that if we were living near each other, then I could be like, hey, come to the gym with me. We'll record these videos together, driving to the gym with Rob and Mark. So that would be really fun, first of all. But then it would be fun to go to the gym, work out, and more so, it would be fun to see the results of the working out and see him getting healthier and just living a more sustainable life. I mean, I just think that would be really cool if we can get that to happen. I don't know if it will. Well, I mean, it's tough because he's got a good job where he's at. He's got a girlfriend who has friends in the area and she doesn't want to move. He has friends in the area. They've got family in the area. Granted, they've got family down here too. But it's different family. Their parents live up there, and I'm their cousin, so it's not as big of a lure, I suppose, from a familial standpoint. Maybe from a fun standpoint, I could, this would probably be more fun. But when your parents are getting old, I guess you don't really want to move away from them. See, my parents both moved away from me, so I'm not in that situation, and I can't fully understand it. But that's where they're at. And I just think that, down the line, it would be great to get them here, ideally before people start having kids. I think this is a great area to raise kids in, North Carolina, Raleigh specifically. It's a moderately sized city. It's not huge by any means. Boston's huge. Raleigh is it's more suburban than Boston. Boston has a huge urban area. Raleigh does too. We've got a downtown, and it's really nice. It's fun to go down there. It's well developed. It's not like it's not like we're living on a farm or anything. But it's not as jam-packed, and you feel like I feel like I'm more of a person living down here, where in the Boston area, there's just so many people that people become a problem. It's too much traffic. It's too many people at the grocery store. There's people in your way everywhere. And that's not what I've directly experienced. I mean, I have seen the traffic. I understand it. That's what I've heard from people around there, or people, who have moved from there. So maybe there's some kind of bias, right? If the people are moving away, they probably don't like it that much. But, I feel that's probably true. Around here, we're getting a little bit more traffic, but it's not at a point where it's really bad yet. And so I just feel like this is a great area to raise kids. It's also, the weather here is a lot nicer for a large chunk of the year. Apparently, it's very cold there for many more months than it is here, and there's huge snowstorms, and the roads get icy, and there's just less opportunity to be outside. Around here, we've got long summers, very warm summers. So if you like going to the pool or doing anything like that, and if you're a kid, you ought to like that, then you can do it, and it's a great situation. So I think that this is also a much more affordable area than Boston. It's not super affordable anymore. Over the past couple of years, real estate has gotten pretty expensive in the Raleigh area, but there are neighboring cities which, they're kind of far out of the way, but you get a cost reduction for that, right? The housing costs a lot less if you're willing to drive, 40 minutes from Raleigh. And then you do lose a lot of the benefits. You are in a kind of smaller area, but I think that over the next, 10 to 20 years, all of these cities are going to grow. And the thing about the Boston area is it's just gotten so large that it's getting kind of gross in a way. It's getting there's so many people that it's getting so dirty. It's a really fun place to visit. And would I live there? Maybe. I mean, possibly. But once again, everything's super expensive, and everything gets cramped when it's expensive, because you have to go with something smaller that fits in your budget. And so I don't know. I just feel like kids need space. Like, they need a yard to run around in. And yeah, they can run around like in the streets, and you can take them to parks, but it's nice for kids to have big yards and areas where they can run around. A benefit I will admit that the Massachusetts area probably has is, since things are more densely packed, kids are more likely to live near their friends. And that's a real boon when you're a kid, to not have to drive places, or to have your parents drive you, to be able to just go out your door, walk down a couple of, a block or two, knock on your friend's door and hang out with them. That's huge. There are places where you could do that around here if you buy a place with that in mind. There are big communities around here, and if you are placed near people of similar ages, and they're also having kids, then your kids could potentially hang out if they get along. So that's another plus. The thing is, it would be great, I think, to live near family. I would love to have more family living here, especially family my age that will probably be having kids around the same time that I do. And then, all of our kids can hang out and we can all watch each other's kids and give each other a break. Cause that's tough. I mean, now people live so far away from their family a lot of the time, they don't get that support network. And I mean, that's how humans evolved, right? You evolved we evolved just in these tribes where you didn't go very far and people would have kids, but their parents were around to help take care of them. There were, it was probably a close-knit tribe where, you had great neighbors and friends that were all around your age that you'd been growing up with your whole life, and you could all take care of each other's kids. And, the men would have to go out and hunt during the day. The women would all, be doing different tasks, gathering stuff, and some of them would be taking care of the kids. But they'd kind of put all of the kids together, and the kids would all, like we do with school, but school only lasts for certain hours, and, you need something a little bit more flexible. I think a lot of the time, if you want to have a reasonable quality of life where you're not super bound to a specific area. If the parents needed to go somewhere on some kind of business or something, or if they just wanted to take a vacation for a few days and go somewhere together, it's so much better to be able to just leave your kids with a family member that lives nearby, and then the kids are having fun, they're hanging out with their cousins. It's a great deal. So that was a long one. That's we're getting pretty close to where we're gonna park. So I'll see you guys in the next one. That was just a weird rambling. I don't know what that was about, but kind of just me yearning for my family to move closer. I was just reminded of it when my mom was visiting. That was fun. And I'm lucky enough that I do live with my sister. And I mean, yeah, that's about the only family I've got in the area. Obviously her boyfriend, potential future brother-in-law. So that's about it though. That's the only family I've got that's within about 3 hours a drive. So that's, to drive 3 hours is kind of it's a trek. So it would be nice if we could get some more family around here. I'm going to see what I can do about it. There's not much I can do to sway people, but we'll see. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.